Hey, I'm Sue. I've been on the carnivore diet now for 6 months and I'm about to do an update. I've also put a side-by-side photo of my face at the end of this video, one from 6 months ago, one from today, so make sure to check that out. Hi there, if you haven't come across my channel before, I'm Sue. I live in New Zealand. I talk about natural health, I share recipes, and I talk about the carnivore diet. And so if you haven't been here before, I welcome you. As I said in my intro, I have been on the carnivore diet now for 6 months, and I thought it was about time I did an update. So I've been going to do this for the last few days, but I've been busy updating some books that I have on Amazon. They've been sitting there for years, and so I've just been cleaning them up and doing some new covers and things. I've got a little book on home remedies, which is just for beginners, just simple things that I've used for years. I've got a book on with some raw food recipes, which are pretty much vegan except for the biltong recipe that's in there. I've got a kids book about an elephant, talking about teaching a town about healthy foods. And I've also got a book on there called The Game of Life, where I've done the introduction. It's an old book, but a real beauty about the law of attraction. I'll put links to those below, and just in case anybody's interested. For those who are in the carnivore community, you're probably not going to be interested in the raw food book, apart from maybe that biltong recipe, or the kids book about healthy eating, because they're from a past life, but I kind of figure that they're still relevant because people who are interested in eating healthier are generally on a journey like I have been. So I've gone from a standard diet to vegan to vegetarian for many years, to then the last few years kind of going into raw food, back out again, into veganism, back out again, just all over the place. And now I'm actually paying for that. So that's part of my journey that I'm going to talk about. So what's happened so far in my 6 months? As I've said in my other videos, my blood pressure has normalised. My blood glucose is way better. It tends to sit around 5.8 to 6.1 a lot of the time now, which is okay. I'd like it to be better than that, but that's okay. I'm still very overweight, about 25 kilos overweight. So chances are it'll get better eventually. I'm also way too sedentary and not doing enough exercise, so that's something else that's also on my mind, considering I used to be an exercise junkie and actually owned a gym. So yeah, the past lives, eh? So there's been no weight loss as yet, although I am experiencing body recomposition. So I am getting a bit smaller, and clothes are fitting better, and I've had people that haven't seen me for a while, saying to me, "Oh, you're losing weight," and I'm like, "No, I'm not losing weight, but my body's definitely changing." I've had some skin issues that are starting to kind of clear up, although I've got a new one the last couple of months on the back of my scalp, which has been really itchy and driving me a bit nuts, but I think that's oxalate dumping. And what else? My eyesight's got a bit better. It's hard to remember. I should have a list of these. I've got notes for some other things because I thought I've got so much I want to talk about today. What else has changed? Less pain most of the time, apart from when my body's dumping oxalates. Less joint pains and muscle pains and tendon pains. I just actually noticed today, I used to always have this tendon pain on the side of my feet, especially my right foot, and I'd sit there and play with it. You know how when you got something sore and you'll move it to kind of, and you can feel it? I used to do that all the time with that right foot. I would kind of stretch it in that way when I was sitting on the couch, and because I could always feel it down the side. And I just realised today it's actually not sore for the first time in probably years and years. So there's lots of little things that are gradually changing. I've spoken before about the condition I've got in my eyes. I can't think what it's called, but it's basically when the gel's coming away from the inside of the eyeball, and at night time you can see flashes, like when I move my eyes from side to side, see a flashing like kind of like lightning, but it's in the circle, the shape of your irises. I think that's getting a little bit better. I've just been gradually watching it, and I try and remember if I wake up through the night to pay attention to see how much is there, and I think that's gradually improving. My teeth and my gums, I think, have improved. As I said in I think it was my last video, the one before, I had about a month and a half, maybe 2 months of really sore teeth, and that's all settled down. I don't know whether that's just maybe a bit of recomposition in the teeth and the tooth enamel, or whether it was oxalate dumping, what was going on there. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. So yeah, so that's all changed. I'm definitely feeling stronger. I can do a headstand. I've always had a thing about doing headstands, and I started doing them again when I was in my late 40s and early 50s, and then I stopped probably a while before we shifted back to New Zealand. We shifted back 7 years ago, so probably a bit before then. And I have felt, since we've been back in New Zealand, I've thought about trying, but I just felt like I couldn't do it. I felt like my neck was probably going to break, that I was too heavy and too weak. But I started feeling like I might be able to. You know, you can feel the difference in your body. You can feel things kind of strengthening up. Like in my work, I do fairly physical work with people's bodies. You know, I do my body work on people, massage and a few other modalities, and so I feel that my hands and my arms are stronger, and I think that my posture's changing as well. It's like, because I've had C7 at the base of my neck really sticks out, and it's got that kind of posture where my head was too far forward, and I'd been kind of playing around trying to correct that, doing some different exercises, but I had stopped doing those. But I think that it's gradually straightening up, which I'm guessing is something to do with the body recomposition and getting more muscle again. So I decided a couple of weeks ago, that I was probably about 3 weeks ago, that I'd have a go at doing headstands. And the first few times it felt so hard up against the wall on a cushion with hands like this. So I'm using my arms and my shoulders to take a lot of my body weight. And the first couple of times I couldn't get my body off the floor, trying to kick myself up. And then I hadn't done it for about a week or so, and then all of a sudden I could do it. And I can stay there, and so that's really, really encouraging, because it didn't take long to be able to get myself doing that. So I really need to get back into some more kind of strenuous exercise, some weight training and stuff, because I think that'll be really interesting to see how quickly things evolve. So fat old lady doing a headstand. So what else do I want to talk about today? I think I mentioned at the beginning of the video, or did I can't remember whether I did or not. I had an issue with a very common herbal tea. So what happened was, I had been drinking decaf coffee, and I decided, okay, I need to stop drinking this decaf because I'm trying to heal my gut up, right? So I went back to more herbal teas, which I kind of knew was a mistake. And licorice tea, so licorice root and fresh ginger, has always been one of my favourites, because it's kind of sweet and hot with the ginger, and I find it quite calming and relaxing. And so I used to drink that occasionally. I would drink it occasionally. I've had periods where I've drunk quite a bit of licorice tea in the past, but in kind of recent years I would put it into a thermos or something if I was going somewhere, because it helped keep my anxiety levels and stuff down, and just keep everything feeling a bit calm. So I started drinking it every day, and I was drinking a potful, which was about a litre a lot of days, for a few weeks, and I knew that licorice tea could cause high blood pressure, and those who have high blood pressure, it could make it get worse, but I didn't think too much more about it, and I started having problems with my feet swelling. So I've had issues with my feet swelling all my adult life. They first started doing it when I was 16 years old, and so I've had issues with feet swelling off and on over the years, and there's always generally a reason. So in the past, caffeine used to cause it, doesn't seem to anymore. But drinking too much alcohol or eating high inflammatory foods or really hot humid weather were other things that would kind of cause my feet to swell in the past, in recent years. So we had some really humid weather, and I thought, oh, well, that's what it is. And then the humid weather went away, and it actually got quite cold, and my feet were still swelling. And the other thing that happened, tongue-tied, the other thing that happened was that I started noticing muscle weakness in my legs. Now, I've had issues with that as well in the past, even as a kid. So I kind of didn't think too much of it at first. And then there was one night, my feet were swollen, my swelling in my feet was getting worse, and my legs, like the bottoms of my legs from my knees down, were really tight. And I was having trouble even getting off the couch. That's how kind of weak my legs. I said to my husband, I said, it feels like I've been exercising really hard with my legs. That's what they feel like. So anyway, the next day when I woke up, I thought to myself, I have a feeling that licorice might cause fluid retention. So I jumped online and started doing a bit of digging. Yeah, that's why it raises your blood pressure, because the active ingredient licorice, I can't remember what it's called, starts with G, it has Z's in it. It mimics aldosterone, I think, from your kidneys, and so it causes salt recycling and reduces potassium in your body. So it causes fluid retention, it causes muscle weakness, it can cause a heart attack or a stroke. And so if it gets really bad, it can be fatal, and you can end up in hospital. I read a story about a man who ended up in hospital because his legs weren't functioning anymore, and a lot of his muscles in his body weren't functioning, and I think he had a heart attack. So I was like, oh my god, I think I've been drinking too much licorice tea. So I've knocked the licorice tea on the head again, and I've just gone out and bought decaf today. So that's was my close call with licorice tea. I don't think I will forget that one in a hurry. And I was tempted to throw the licorice root out. I've left it in the fridge at the moment. This is the thing, is like, I know this has been on my mind, is like I've always been such a plant focused with my diet and my health and everything. It's hard to kind of step away from that, if you know what I mean. So I'm getting there. My diet is all animal based except for herbal teas and coffee, and I'm also still having some blueberries. I had stopped having them, so I've gone through periods through the last 6 months where I've been 100% animal based, but I was having so much issue with diarrhea, and so I've introduced the blueberries again because they help with the diarrhea. Now, originally I thought it was the fibre that was helping, and so I started using psyllium, and I thought, well, I'll get rid of the berries and just have psyllium, but it didn't work. And I didn't click at first what that was, but it's the oxalates. It's the oxalates. So what I've realised now that things are kind of settling down is that my oxalate dumping goes through cycles, and it seems to be a few days in between at the moment. It's getting better, but I'll have a few days where I'm really good, and then I'll go back into where my body's dumping oxalates, and I can tell because I get diarrhea. It's like sand in the toilet. I get really sore. I was getting nosebleeds. They have stopped. So that was my first signal for a while. Once I realised what was going on, was that I would get a nosebleed, and then all the other dumping symptoms would happen. So I've got some skin things going on. So I'm sitting here scratching this. I've got some skin things going on, which I think is oxalate as well, on the back of my scalp. I've got a bit of a rashy thing across just the base of my skull, and I think that's all oxalate dumping. And it just, when I'm in the misery of it, when it's really bad, I start feeling sorry for myself, and I get really pissed off because I have spent most of my adult life eating as healthy as I can, eating a cleaner diet than just about anyone else that I know. And all I've done is damage myself with these frickin' oxalates. because I was eating all the superfoods, you know, as all this stuff came out and people started going on, you know, about all this stuff, you know, the cacao and the spinach smoothies and the, you know, all the green smoothies and the raspberries and the what else? All that stuff was all my diet, and for years. And so even as a kid, I mean, vitamin C converts into oxalate in the body if you take out excess vitamin C. Even as a kid, we had vitamin C when I was a kid, and like my friends didn't even know what that was, but because my dad was into nutrition and stuff, we always had vitamin C tablets. And if I could get away with it, I'd be chowing down on a whole pile of those because they tasted really good. And so this has probably been going on like forever. And so I've got probably close to 60 years worth of oxalate in my body potentially that it needs to get rid of now. So God knows how long that's going to take. And it pisses me off. But I believe I've learned a lot over the last 3 years since this whole COVID thing's been going on, and you can call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever you want, but from everything that I've seen and learned over the last 3 years, we've been lied to by just about everything, and I believe that we've been lied to on purpose about nutrition. I mean, I know that we have in certain respects because of for profits for drug companies and stuff, but the whole thing about these vegetables and superfoods and stuff, I believe has all been done with intent as well, to put so that those of us who actually give a shit about our bodies and are trying to do the right thing are eventually doing the wrong thing. Because what I know is that those of us who stay away from big pharma and have been eating a healthy diet full of fruits and vegetables and superfoods, initially it looks like we're doing better. I see this in other people as well. Initially it looks like we're doing better, you know, our skin stays better and our health generally stays better for a period of time because we're not eating all the junk food and the chemicals and stuff. But then once all of these plant toxins and that really start to kick in, depending on your genetics as well, that's what really starts to fuck you up. And I think that's what's been happening. In fact, I know that's what's been happening with me. So it pisses me off, but I will get there. I'm not that easily defeated, and I'm going to keep going. So at the moment I'm eating meat. I'm thinking about actually stopping the chicken and the pork. I listened to a video today with Paul Saladino and Ken Berry having a wee debate about fruit and honey, and I think that Paul actually won the debate, to be honest. If there's a winner, 1 to Paul, 0 to Ken. I like them both, and I get Paul's side of the argument. I'm actually going to do a video about that with my thoughts on that. Not that I'm any kind of expert, but just with my thoughts. That's right. Paul mentioned that he doesn't eat chicken or pork because of the linoleic acid in the fat, because they're all fed grains. And that's something I've been kind of thinking about as well. I don't really eat pork, but I do eat bacon. And I've also been off eggs for the last month, or maybe a bit more, about a month now, because I've had issues with eggs in the past. I'm not 100% certain that they're not causing me an issue now with my digestive system, so I thought I'd stay off them for a little bit. I tried testing yesterday using the pulse method, but it didn't really work. There was nothing concrete that came out of it. I tested both chicken eggs and duck eggs, and both of them kind of seem like they may be causing issues because your pulse rate rises when you put a food into your mouth that your body's sensitive to. That's the theory behind this. So I thought I'll just stay off eggs for a bit longer, and then I'll challenge them again, because I tried them. Oh no, it wasn't yesterday, it was the day before. I decided to challenge the eggs, and I ate the rest of the eggs, the duck egg and the chicken egg that was there in the end, because I was just like, oh, bugger it, I'll just eat them and see what happens tomorrow. But then that night I also had some yogurt made from pasteurised milk, so because I forgot that upset my gut the last time, so I ended up with diarrhea yesterday. So I don't know whether it was the eggs or the yogurt or both. So I'm off eggs again for now, and I'll test them again another day without eating anything else that might be a problem. I always do these dumb things. Do you do dumb things like that? You kind of just, I don't know. So anyway, so chicken and pork I may stop eating for a while. or eating, and see if that makes a difference to things and to my weight. Part of my thoughts behind that is that I have a condition called Pyroluria. So this is something I don't think I've talked about in my carnivore videos. I do have some videos from when I was first diagnosed, and then a couple of years apart. I haven't done any videos about pyroluria for a little while. So if you don't know what pyroluria is, you can Google it and find out, but it's basically a condition where the spleen, when it's processing red blood cells, it creates a byproduct called cryptopyrroles, and the cryptopyrroles bind to zinc and B6 and carried out of the body in your urine. People with pyroluria make too much cryptopyrrole, which creates deficiencies in zinc and B6, and then because of them, deficiencies in other things like magnesium and such, it causes all sorts of things like chronic anxiety, social discomfort, poor stress tolerance, digestive issues, joint pain, acne and eczema. Having no dream recall is really common. Burning easily with the sun is really common. Having abnormal fat distribution is really common. Mood swings and poor memory, difficulty digesting protein is common, and a lot of people with pyroluria lean towards veganism and vegetarianism because of that, but that is exactly the wrong thing to do, because zinc and B6 are in highest amounts in animal products and animal foods, meats and things. So the reason they think that ends up happening is because when our deficiencies are bad, we can have low stomach acid, and so it just makes it hard, and so we kind of lean towards plant foods rather than animal foods. People with pyroluria also need often more arachidonic acid, which is found in animal foods, and gamma-linolenic acid, which is found in things like borage oil and evening primrose oil, but it's also in organ meats and liver and that sort of thing. And the other thing with people with pyroluria is that omega-3s can make it worse, can make depression and anxiety worse in particular. So I was diagnosed with that when I was 50, and I was in quite a bad way then, and I was on high dose supplements for quite a lot of years, and then I stopped taking them probably a couple of years ago, and I've been just kind of managing other ways since then, and that's where Carnivore makes sense to me, because Carnivore has the nutrients in it that people with pyroluria need, and eliminates a lot of the plant toxins and stuff that we probably really struggle with. So I have a feeling that people with pyroluria are possibly more prone to having issues with things like oxalates, as well as lectins and different things, because we have dicky digestive systems anyway. So that's part of the reason for all my issues with IBS, diarrhea and all that sort of stuff over the years as well. So that's a big story, isn't it? So I'm still taking supplements now, not pyroluria supplements, but I'm still taking supplements. When I first went on to Carnivore, I did a video back then, and I stopped all my supplementation, and I thought, right, I'm going to do this, and this will be fine, and I won't need supplements because I'm eating a proper human diet. But turns out I kind of do, and this is the thing, is as you're healing, sometimes you need things to help along the way, and the conclusion that I've come to is that plants are medicines for the most part, and so if you need them as a medicine, then take them. They're way better than anything pharmaceutical you're going to take, I can tell you. So what I'm taking at the moment, I did a video, I'll link to that below. I did a video about bile acid malabsorption a few months back, because I came across some information about that, figured that might be at least part of my problem, and so I started taking betaine HCl and milk thistle, and I think that helped initially and has probably helped with where I'm at now. I've stopped taking them now, but I am taking homeopathic remedies. I'm taking a bowel nosode, Nosode, which is a homeopathic remedy, and I've been taking that now for a couple of months, and I think that is playing a part with what appears to be some good progress. And I'm also taking a supplement called NAG, That's it there. I will link to that below. So NAG is not NAC, it's NAG. So NAG is N-acetyl glucosamine, and it is found in the joints. It helps with to support joint health, and it helps to support intestinal health. So when it wasn't something I'd ever come across. I come across NAC. So there's been lots of people talk about NAC with this whole COVID malarkey, but NAG is a different thing. So it's an acetylized, I don't know if that's the right word, acetylized form of glucosamine. So it helps with intestinal health, joint health, also helps with respiratory health and immunity, but is really good for helping to heal the gut. And I noticed a difference very quickly when I first started taking that. So I ordered 2 bottles. It goes for miles. They're quite a big bottle. They've got about 120 capsules, and you take 1 or 2 a day. I'm taking 2 a day, 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening, and that seems to be helping massively. I'm also taking some ashwagandha at the moment because having pyroluria, my stress response tends to be kind of amplified or something, and I think that's what goes on with my bowel as well, is that because if I get anxious, it kicks off my bowel often. That's been my history. Not doing it as much now on the days when I'm not oxalate dumping, but even then my anxiety about that happening is a thing, and so that's creating stress in my body, and so I'm not going to lose weight while my body is under stress. So I was taking a spray supplement that has ashwagandha and kava in it, but it's got a flavouring in it, and I didn't want to keep taking that. So I've got some ashwagandha capsules, and I've just started taking those a few days ago to lower and kind of normalise my cortisol levels, hopefully, and hopefully stop that cycle of the anxiety about the whole diarrhea issue and stuff. So fingers crossed that works, because it's a real mindfuck, that whole thing. If you've had IBS-D, you know what I'm talking about. It becomes just a part of your life. Like when you've had it for years, it becomes something that's a constant stress all the time. So yeah, I'm taking the ashwagandha. I'm taking some organ supplements, just off and on, not every day. I'm taking this company here. I'll link to these guys as well. They're a New Zealand company. This one, Mojo, is for women, and it contains placenta and ovaries and mammary tissue. I noticed a difference when I first started taking it, and then that's just kind of leveled off. So I don't know whether I'll keep taking it or not. This is my first bottle, and I've also got some other ones through there that have got liver and kidney and stuff in, which I just take occasionally. I don't even take it once a week. I just take it occasionally, just because I've kind of figured that organs aren't something that we want to eat all the time, but sometimes is probably a good idea, and I just can't stand the taste of liver and stuff. So yeah, that's me. I take that, and I also use some electrolytes and mineral drops that are made from ocean water. They're tested for heavy metals and stuff, so there's no contaminants in them. There's a powder version and a liquid version. I will link to those below as well. I found them very useful, like through my licorice tea thing. That was part of what was going on as well, I think, because I had been taking the electrolytes fairly regularly, and then I stopped, and so the potassium level lowering in my body probably got worse because I wasn't taking the electrolytes. So I take these ones. I find them really good if I'm just feeling a bit flat, a bit low in energy, if I've got a bit of a headache, something like that, or if I had issues initially with my heart, feeling like it was kind of pounding when I first few months on Carnivore. Helped lots with that, and I was taking them a few times a day, but now I might take them a few times a week, just depending on how I'm feeling, and they work really, really well. And so they're not like other electrolyte products that most of them only contain salt, potassium and magnesium, I think that's all. Whereas this has got it's got the whole range of minerals and trace minerals because it's ocean water, and I think that that's probably a better option. It makes sense to me that it's a better option because you're taking it with all its little bits. I'm really scientific, but I know what I mean. Okay, and hopefully you do too. What else? So I've stopped taking the betaine HCl. I am taking enzymes. So I'm taking these enzymes that are made by Dietary. I'll put my link to my Dietary shop down below. If you want to order those, you can. They're a really good enzyme product. And yeah, that's about it for the enzymes. So I don't know if I've got any more notes in there. No, I don't. So that's where I am at now. I don't think there's anything else that I wanted to say. If you've got any comments or questions, please fire away below. I'm going to do some more videos soon about the whole Pyroluria thing and the carnivore diet, because I honestly believe that the carnivore diet is probably the best diet for people with Pyroluria. And as hard as that is for people who are currently vegan or vegetarian to wrap their heads around, I'm going to talk about my experience with the whole oxalate dumping thing, because this is pretty messed up, and it might take years to resolve. Sally Norton, she's 8.5 years and she still goes through cycles with the oxalate dumping. So but my diarrhea issue definitely seems to be getting better, unless I stuff up like I did the other day with the eggs and stuff, or unless I'm oxalate dumping. So like today, I've been to the toilet once and it was solid. Hallelujah! So little small things can make us very happy. So yeah, so questions and comments. If you like this video, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and that's it. My mind's just gone blank. I've been talking for too long. Okay, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you again another day. Bye.